Braden here from Beach of Skylights. We are starting a new skylight install today. Just behind me here, we got the stairway that we're setting up over. As you can see, I've got all kinds of protective plastic going on. Let me flip here. So I've kind of quarantined off the whole second floor here. The homeowner's not residing here right now. They're just doing a few rentals. So what I've done is just kind of protected off this area. This is gonna be my cutting area here for lumber, framing, and all that. This is the stairwell. Now, next thing I have to do is I have to build a platform over the stairwell here. You know, we're not just gonna put a couple planks on the railings here. That's just not our style. We're gonna actually build a nice platform for the stairway. Now we're gonna get rid of this chandelier. Now, as we can see, this room is longer this way than it is this way, obviously. So what that means for us is that the way we design the skylight, we want to go with the grain of the room. So even though we have a square-shaped skylight, the tunnel is going to be longer that way. So the tunnel is going to be 4 feet wide from, you know, center over the stairwell here. Probably from somewhere around this rail to this wall we'll use as our center point. And then, yeah, then we'll go from there. You know, I think the first step we gotta do here though is get our platform built. That way we can really start to take some hard measurements and kind of go from there. Otherwise, I'm gonna start that process and keep you up to date as we go. All right, so we're starting to make some progress here. Just getting most of the platform all built up. I still have to screw a bunch of this in, but just want to give you guys an idea kind of what we're looking at and how we perform our work and why this part is so crucial. Now, once we get the plywood sheets covering up all this here, then it allows us to basically just freeform do everything we got to do. And once it's built, as you can see, I got a decent gap here. It's not really the safest to try and lean up and work over here. If I need to get to it, you know, I can always kind of push the whole thing over that way, and that's why I made everything the height that it is. So even my rails here go above the banisters and all that. So anyway, I'm not done. I still have to do all my X strapping, cross strapping, and sheet it. But otherwise, you know, this thing is just, let's see, I think, yeah, it's full 8-foot lengths here. So basically, so I could just slap the plywood on all the way across and only have to do one cut along this edge here. And I'll probably just use my scale saw and just rip it all at the very end there. And that's the other reason why we have all this plastic here, you know, taped off all the doors so that when I do make a cut or anything like that, that it's all protected and I don't have to clean up much at the very end. Also, it makes the client feel like, you know, you give a crap, which we certainly do. So that's where we're at right now. I'll give you a quick update here in a couple minutes. All right, so this is what we got. Got the platform all built. Obviously got the coffee. That's huge priority around here. So as you can see, we got the sheathing on at this point and all the cross strapping on. Now this one didn't really make an X because I had to keep an opening for up and down the stairs, but otherwise, if you can, you know, make sure you can cross the pieces for the most part, like we did here, for example. And that leg there, that goes all the way down to that stair. That's why I got a bunch of 12-foot lumber here, just for weird scenarios like that. And obviously when we get into the framing portion of the skylight, we need to have long enough lumber to go from this wall plate to that wall plate at some point, I'm sure, or vice versa. So anyway, yeah, we're in good shape here. We got all set up, right? So we got the cutting station all set up here. Everything's all draped off, right, for all the personal items so they don't get too dusty. For everything, we're using GRK structural multi-purpose screws. These are the bees knees. They're self-drilling as well, so they don't split wood within reason. Got the little bucket head vacuum, obviously. Got to have that. Now we're also doing a skylight in the bathroom here at some point. Doesn't look like much right now, but then this skylight here, we're gonna go with the grain of the trusses this way. Little 2x4 skylight, real straightforward. So it's gonna be real nice. Let me pull at the wide angle here. This gives you a better view. Got the rock saw for later on. Yeah, we're basically all set up here. So day one here is really just all about getting prepped, getting set up. Now the last thing I have to do though, is usually we drape off from ceiling to scaffold. We put a drapery of plastic, just like this stuff here, and try and contain as much dust as possible for when we start cutting the ceiling, just the ceiling drywall there, and all that sort of thing. So that'll pretty much be it for today. We're not going to do a late day today. Tomorrow we're going to start getting into the opening, the sizing, the placement, and go from there. All right, so we're moving ahead here, making some progress. Haven't made any cuts yet in terms of the tunnel, but we are fully set up and kind of ready to go. So I want to show you guys where we're at with things right now. So I got the draped plastic from ceiling to platform all set up. I just made this little extension here for basically just to be a little safer if I'm working near this edge, you know, just have a little extension here as opposed to having, you know, a 2-foot gap there, which is pretty sketchy before. So I just finished actually going up into the attic. Here's the attic hatch here. Just finished going up in there and actually pre-shoveling all the insulation above this area here, right? Because when I cut this drywall out, you know, before, if I hadn't shoveled all that insulation out, I would have had, you know, this would have just been completely full of insulation, probably 2 feet worth or higher, and just putting that in garbage bags would have been not very fun at all. So I pre-shoveled it out of my way. I waited for today specifically also because it's a bit cooler day up there. I think today's only maybe 25 degrees Celsius as opposed to yesterday, which was like 40 degrees Celsius. So this is where we're at. You know, it's really important to have the draped plastic here from the ceiling to the scaffold, just for dust collection. I mean, we wrap everything down here and all that, but as soon as you start cutting drywall and the insulation starts coming through, because even though I shoveled it, you know, you're not going to get all of it. So that's where we're at with things. I'm just about to cut the drywall opening now. You probably can't see it with the camera, but I drew some lines kind of there. So I drew out the lines already, squared everything up, made sure it's all tickety-boo, ready to go. All right, so here we got our ceiling opening all cut out. It's not, the drywall's not off or anything, but I just wanted to show you guys something real quick. Put it in wide angle here. So the tool I use for this is the multi-tool. The blade is, you know, this one's super dull, so it's not a good example, but something wider, kind of a multi-purpose blade is fine. And I use that specifically so that I can get these nice, clean, straight lines, or straight-ish. Basically, if you use a Sawzall, sometimes it can get pretty crazy and pretty inaccurate. This way you can keep a nice, thin line. You know, whatever you drew out, you can basically hit it almost spot on. That way, when you're doing your framing, you don't have to play with, you know, your tape measure all the time, because this is now your basis for everything that you're doing. So put in all the preparation and hard work at the start, get those lines drawn nicely, squared nicely, and you know, reap the rewards later when you're framing. So the other thing too is that, you know, we got the tarp up here now, so we can't really, it's not easy for us to put our tape measure against walls and, you know, do judgment measurements after the fact. So if you just take your time, do a nice straight cut here, it'll save you a lot of hard work down the road. So yeah, just wanted to show you that. About to pop this drywall out and see what happens, see how dirty I get. All right, so day 3, getting back into it here. It was a busy bee yesterday. We got the opening cut and actually framed in as well here. So like I said before, I moved away that insulation, and then that way I could cut the drywall off and then start framing in the opening. So now this morning what I got up to was I also framed up the skylight opening up on the roof, right? Because here we got the attic space, and I apologize, it's hard to see up there. There's obviously not much light yet, but framed it in with double headers on both ends. Same with the attic space up here. Everything around the ceiling is all double. Now I still have to put in my side doublers there, but otherwise everything is all wrapped up. Now the other thing we have to do here is the client wants a sun tunnel in their, so what's going to be the walk-in closet. Do the wide angle here. So this is going to be the walk-in closet here. So we're going to put a sun tunnel hopefully approximately in this area, about a 14-inch. That'll just absolutely explode this room with light. In the bathroom, like I mentioned before, we're doing a 2x4 skylight here. So once I get the studs in on the stairway skylight over here and kind of start to wrap this puppy up more or less, then I will actually kind of start the process over, open things up over here, and get this puppy rolling. It won't take much to frame this one in, thankfully, and I won't need a scaffold. I won't need half the work. All right, so we're just getting started here with the bathroom skylight. As we're getting set up here, you know, drew out the lines like I did the last one. Kept this one open-ended, just because not really sure kind of where it's going to land on the opening side. Now this is a bit of a tricky one because the client definitely wants to look out of the glass while they're resting in the tub. So in order to do that, I'm actually, after quite a bit of thought, I might do a reverse flare. So typically on the high side, we would flare it 90 degrees from the roof down to the opening. In this case, because the head's going to be resting over here, looking upward like this, I think I'm going to flare the tunnel kind of reverse, like so the sight line works, goes up to the glass to the roof, and then on the high side might actually come straight down with it. So that's what we'll start with. All right guys, end of day 4 here. So coming into the bathroom, I opened it up today and we got most of it framed in. It's not quite done yet, but I do have a majority of it done to the point where structurally it's sound. So this is kind of the profile it's going to be. You can see we got the low side flare here and the high side flare there. Now the reason why I flared it on this side is because when the client's laying in the tub, you know, it's really important that she's able to see out the skylight. So if the wall went straight up here on this angle, then it may actually obstruct that view. So we made it a priority to have that in the right position, right? So otherwise, just got to put in some studs tomorrow. Got one in there, just testing out my sizing. It's actually not the best fit. I got to recut that one tomorrow. But yeah, we didn't make much more progress with the stairway skylight. But tomorrow I'm coming in early. We're gonna stud all these out, get them ready for insulation. I gotta head out early tomorrow, so I'll be here early and leaving early, and then that way we're ready for this R22 Roxol bat, 16-inch on center. Pretty straightforward. Nice thick insulation that, you know, really gives it the R value that we need for this tunnel wall. So now from this standpoint here, it's, you know, the skylight, I mean, this bathroom has a lot of light, so we're not really trying to bring in too much light per se, but it's more of an immersive experience for the client so that they can they basically can see out the skylight when they're in the bath or anything like that. So now the logic here for this high side of the tunnel was that whatever the roof angle was, we just went 90 degrees from that angle, and that's how we came up with this opening dimension here. So yeah, otherwise, you know, everything's looking pretty awesome here. Pretty happy with things. And yeah, no, we're moving forward. So tomorrow I'm gonna wrap things up here, get it all raftered in, studded in, so that way Monday we can get right back to insulating, vapor barrier, both of these, and get some bodies out here to actually cut these openings probably on Tuesday, so that we can start drywalling and having some fun. So there we go. I'll keep you guys up to date as we go. And yeah, take care. Day 5 here. Just finished studying out these, this bathroom skylight. So this is what it looks like with it all basically framed in, ready for insulation. Right, so there's the profile there, where we got the low side flare, skylight, and then the high side flare. So from back here, it's not going to look like too much, right? We're not going to see the glass from here, it looks like, but obviously, like I said before, that's not really the priority. We want to look up and go, wow. So otherwise, just wanted to do a quick update there. Nothing much to show, pretty straightforward stuff. And then I'm just about to jump over to the stairway skylight and do the same thing over there. So here we go, end of day 5. Got the stairway skylight all studded in. Pull out the wide angle, and there we go. So that's the tunnel there. Right, so here's the stairwell down here. The tunnel here. This thing's gonna be absolutely massive. Right, so we got a, I think my high side pieces, my high side studs here that I cut, those were 115 inches. So about 11 feet. Right, too bad the plastic's here, but this kind of gives you an idea of the profile. If you can kind of see what's going on there, but so yeah, all the framing's done. Just got to put a couple of pieces in, little scab pieces at the end. Takes me a couple minutes, nothing big, but just wanted to show you guys where I'm at for the end of the day here. Super dark up there right now, but once we pop that thing open, it is gonna be absolutely insane with light. All right guys, so we got the insulation and vapor barrier on for the bathroom skylight. Nothing really much to see here. Pretty straightforward, right? So as we can see here, the 16-inch studs are, you know, the reason why we do 16 is because our insulation is 16. So we just make sure of that so that it holds in nicely. But otherwise, you know, we do make sure to insulate and vapor barrier each tunnel. So yeah, this is where it's at. Now we're still working on the stairway skylights, so there's not much to see there at the moment. I'll be making a video on that tomorrow morning, just to as we get caught up on that one. But otherwise, we're gonna get this skylight cut open for tomorrow or Wednesday. So we'll see how that goes, depending on what guys we got coming in and that. But otherwise, here we are. Looks good. All right, guys. So now we're here, day 7. This is the stairway tunnel, all insulated and vapor barriered. We've got the LEDs hooked in, ready to go. So what we do there is we actually just drill a hole through our trimmer there, and that way it comes through the drywall and lays behind our trim. This is pretty much it. Nothing crazy to look at here. Let me just pull back and pull at the wide angle. So yeah, next step is some drywall, which will get cut out. For here, nothing much has changed. Now I just started to kind of fill the low side with drywall, get things going here, but we realized that the existing drywall they had is 5/8 or 3/4. It's actually quite a bit thicker than our 1/2 inch. So what we'll do is we'll just take a piece of the existing drywall, something that actually our ladder's standing on. But because it's such a small strip for that underneath part, that's going to be our best bet, just to get that a nice flush line. And then yeah, slap some drywall in here, so that won't take long here. The 4x4 tunnel across the way over the stairway there, that's probably gonna take a little longer, but otherwise everything's going good. And yeah, we'll keep you updated as we go here. So we're on day 9 here. I know I skipped a couple days, but where we're at is we got everything boarded up over the stairway here. This thing is massive. The height of this tunnel is just crazy. But looks really, really good. We're still in the mudding, taping, and primering stage. But we did get the LEDs hooked up, so we do that before we do the trim and before the drywall, so that when we put it in, it's all nicely tucked under and we don't see anything here. But otherwise, all the roofing's done. I'll show you guys some pictures of that later on. But basically, we just got all the crazy stuff done where we put a 10-foot sheet of drywall from top to bottom there. Just had a little scab piece we had to put in at the little bottom here. I think it was like 2-3 inches maybe. But other than that, everything is moving along. Not really as quickly as we'd like, but it is certainly moving along, and everything's nice and straight and square and beautiful. So look at that, you can actually see the clouds through there. Ain't that pretty? So yeah, we'll keep you updated, but right now we're just in the mudding, taping, and primering stage. And then hopefully tomorrow or Saturday, day 10 or day 11, we'll get the trim up with the LEDs and get this whole thing glowing. All right, talk soon.